But here we go, best of 7, game 1. Both these players will be fighting for the attack on each and every point.
I think one thing that's really unique about Tom's game is you don't really see many pen holders using the reverse pendulum serve.
And I think it gives him a nice angle when players decide to go with the spin out to his forehand. He can take that ball down the line or hook it. So, nice forehand flip. The height of Yijun when he's off the table is a huge advantage. Long arms, able to keep that ball in play. Teddy's got to be careful when he thinks the point's over. He can't go to the wings as easily as he might think.
There he is around the corner on that forehand again.
It would almost seem like, Matt, if Teddy could take a page out of the match we just saw and play a lot more to the center of the table, because off the wings, Yijun is so solid, especially from the backhand side. If that ball had landed, I'm not sure what Teddy Tran would have done. He'd already kind of got knocked out to the forehand side.
So ball breakage there.
So Yijun found players will hit a couple times just to get a sense and a feel for the ball. Earlier, Matt, we spoke about during Angela Guan's match what a great attitude and great fighting spirit that she has as a young player, and I see the same thing with Teddy Tran. He's run into some tough outcomes trying to make various teams, and just really super positive. You don't see a lot of negative body language on him if he misses. Just a real class player out there, fighting hard to be a true competitor. You also don't hear him when he wins a point going berserk, which as an opponent you appreciate. He lets his racket do the talking, and right now he needs to get something going. Defending champ Yijun Feng controlling the first 3 balls rather well.
Going through the motions on the backhand.
Just seems like Yijun has, I don't know if I'd say a second gear, but so many more options with his backhand in the backhand-to-backhand exchanges. Definitely over the table backhand on the short balls. He can put a lot more behind it. Teddy with one more serve, trying to come within 2. Nice.
There's that middle ball.
Right, nice tight control. All these players have such big weapons to win the point, they're just not going to let the other player swing at will. They're a lot safer controlled shots.
It's another great backhand exchange.
There's probably the first powerful forehand we've seen by Feng. So he goes up 1-0, winning 11-7, holding his #1 seed in the previous round. It took him 5 games to beat Adar Al-Ghedi, whereas Teddy Tran in his previous match beat Richard Petri Lugo,
who had actually upset Mark Kaczynski.
Yeah, that was a surprise there. Teddy won in 4 games as well. In 5 games, I'm sorry. So both these players have had some initial testing, but have made it through unscathed into the quarterfinals.
I think going into this set, Teddy's going to have to be a little more careful with his placement. It might be simple for him to think that the backhand-to-backhand exchanges work for him, but Tom has a really good ability with his, especially with his wrist, playing penhold, to get great contact and acceleration over the ball once he's in it, even off the serve, but once he's in a topspin rally, playing over the ball is kind of second nature for him.
It really seems that most players are so afraid of what Yijun can do on the forehand, and that's an example right there that the only other option is to go to the backhand, and that's what makes Yijun such a complete player, is that once you go to the backhand, he has such a solid backhand. Almost seems like if he has a 70-30 mix of backhand placement, backhand quick shots, and then comes in with the 30% of the forehand knockouts, that's what he's looking for. So playing only to his backhand is going to get a lot of the strong placement shots that he's comfortable with. Teddy definitely needs to get his forehand into play.
I mean, that's the tough thing about playing Yijun. You can play him out wide. He still maintains a reasonable level of power, and also if you play big shots, and Teddy's played some great forehands across court, he just counters them off the table.
That was such a nice drop shot off the serve. Just again with the pen holder, there's no middle. It's almost better for Teddy to serve more half long and not give that short ball a chance to get returned at the same depth. So now 3-all, game 2. Yijun with the serve. And that's just a 1-2 combo that he can do all day long. Inside out serve to the middle, backhand off the bounce, wide to the backhand. You go to the middle or forehand. Here comes Yijun's monster forehand rip.
You almost have to wonder whether forcing him to play a rally is a good tactic. I mean, he's got to try and disrupt the rhythm somehow. Seems to be having a little more success in the shorter rallies before it gets out to the rally. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that's where he has to focus, in the serve and the receive.
And I think backhand to backhand, Teddy's going to continue to have difficulty. It's just a tougher ball to deal with. A little bit of side spin on it. And anything short, Yijun's able to really put pressure on.
Seemed to have his arm locked up a little bit there on that forehand receive.
Nice play by Teddy Tran. Got the forehand loop in. Yijun's off the table. Controlled attack, not too crazy. Almost it seemed like Yijun was having difficulty, thinking it was going to be a little bit faster. Go for the counterattack. Right now 5-7. Tran to serve. A nice try on trying to get that last smash back. But again, this point in the forehand to forehand rally, Yijun has so much more power and direction.
And that ball just shifted over a little into the middle.
Look at that. Nice drop shot, backhand over the table. Just reminds me so much of the great Chinese player Wang Hao, who played the same strong backhands, and that backhand is just jumping. Yijun just taking it off the bounce, and just combination of great timing, using his wrist, and now a solid play by Yijun, taking a 2-0 lead, controlling the serve return, and third ball attacks. No real resistance. Teddy Tran getting advice from Billy Ding, who we saw also helping Crystal Wong earlier in her quarterfinal match against Lily Zhang.
And that's Jen Yusheng in Yijun's corner. He's also coaching Timothy Wang as well.
Again, nice over the table third ball attack. In the short game department, Yijun, it's really not even comparable. Just taking Teddy Tran out of his opening attacks.
I mean, that makes it really difficult. Where do you beat him?
It would almost seem like Teddy Tran needs to get away from the shorter serve and hope that he can withstand one opening. I don't know if the forehand is better than the backhand, because the forehand he can take down the line, the backhand he's going to jam you into your backhand. So either way, Yijun Feng is going to be able to start the point on his terms, because he's that much better in the small serve and serve return, especially the short game. That's nice. Good defense on the backhand loop off the bounce. That ball's blockable back cross court, but then you're going to get another one out to the forehand. It's a little riskier. Look at that backhand after the forehand. Very solid. These aren't high-risk shots, but they're definitely giving Yijun. That's the first shot we've seen him go for a little bit more on the ball.
I think the real strength in his game is just being so effective at 80% pace. I mean, he doesn't miss very often, but 80% pace is fast enough to do the job.
And it's about 10% faster and more consistent than everyone else. He doesn't have to go to the red line in order to put something on the ball. Oh my gosh, that was so nice. Yijun took two backhands off the bounce. And then just, I mean, that ball went past Teddy Tran's forehand so fast, barely had enough time to turn his head to watch it.
When you look at the slow motion, there's just no strain at all.
it's such a nice balance between when he decides to go with the big forehand, and then it's the quick, nice, deep backhand off the bounce where he can really increase the speed. Forehand's just a rocket, but it has a lot of spin on it. It's putting a lot of pressure on Teddy to do something and not allow Yijun to open.
He's doing well to kind of keep the game level in this set.
A little bit of a lucky break there for Teddy, but that's the type of point that we've seen throughout the first 2 games, where just a quick drop shot bringing Teddy out of position. Then here comes that backhand. And there's a timeout by Yijun. It appears that he would like to send a message this game and say, I'm going to take you out right now, instead of hold that timeout for maybe a game 4 or 5.
Yeah, I mean, in his previous 2 matches, he's dropped 1 game, so I guess it'd be great for his confidence if he could move out and win it 4-0, especially going into the final sessions tomorrow if he can get through.
And clearly going up 3-0, if he takes this game, and it might have been even a little sense of confusion going back to his coach saying, what do you think would make sense? More of the same, because Teddy has evened up the score, or should I try something that he might not have anticipated or thought that I have in my bag of tricks?
Always favoring that reverse pendulum serve.
I mean, that's just too easy. If Teddy's not going to loop that ball strong to the forehand and get into a counter looping rally, but just play it safe to the backhand, Teddy's not going to put the ball on the table. I mean, Teddy will know after this match how effective that backhand loop is, because it's not only on the table, but it's penetrating. Look at how that's just heavy spin after nullifying the serve with a short drop shot. A little bit of a serve return clinic going on here. How to take the serve away from your opponent. Pretty well placed timeout there. 4 points in a row, and now 4 game points. And Yijun Feng now leads 3-0 with a very solid 5 points in a row to finish off game number 3. See the smile on his coach's face.
I think that timeout just sent a really, really clear message of, I don't want to be drawn up with you. I'm here to win. And I'm here to win 4-0. I think really Teddy needs to look at the start of the point. I mean, the reverse serve, short to the forehand, it's a really difficult serve to be able to control, and that just gives a lot of balls for Yijun to kind of pick off, and he can pretty much take his pick. I mean, whether he comes over the table and flips, opens with his backhand or his forehand, it just gives him a lot of options. And I mean, that's why he's kept on using it for more or less the entire match so far.
Both players have such great forehands. But in order to get those into play, you have to be able to set them up. And in the setting up phase of the game, Yijun is just a level above. He's able to nullify the serving advantage from Teddy, and on his own serve, he's able to start on demand. There's the drop, here's the opening, and there's the point.
Let's not forget, we're talking about a player who beat Quadriruna at the North American teams. It's a huge win for Yijun Feng.
And I really think that's a nice aggressive shot by Teddy. Matt, I think that one victory gave him such a confidence boost that he realized, wait a second, I'm beating somebody in the top 50 in the world, and I didn't have to play crazy to do it. I just had to play my game, and from that match on, he has been the top U.S. men's player, bar none. Every major tournament, he's been coming out on top. So
there are a couple of good placements there by Teddy, just across the body in the middle. Great inside-out backhand there.
Now you see Teddy going for a lot more speed and depth on the serve. The problem is when you do that, Yijun can take a half a step back and then really see where you are before he decides where to play that ball. Yijun really uses his height well. He's able to bend, get below the ball. Teddy really has to pay attention. He cannot afford any careless or unforced errors. He's got to be up at the table putting pressure. There's a little bit of a lucky break there. Ball was on Yijun's paddle.
I think, I know before I went to the World Champs, when I was talking to Adam Hugh, one of the things which really shouts out in this match for Teddy is that he's not going to get given opportunities. He's got to be the one who goes out there and creates opportunities to win points.
Even on that last backhand slow opening, there was more spin than Teddy was expecting. Nice try for the backhand block down the line. I think if Yijun is given that shot 10 times, he probably makes it 7. Oh, nice misdirection there by Teddy. Teddy has to get his forehand into play. He's got to move and be willing to take a little bit of a risk. If he just plays safe and controlled, Yijun's just too fundamentally sound off of the first and second shots. Teddy's having to play and control the whole table. So even though it looks like an easy ball to his backhand, he's got to be ready in case Yijun takes it out to the forehand or even plays it to his middle. So tied up at 6, just like last game. Tran with the serve. Beautiful block there. Almost want to say guessed right on the ball down the line.
I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know if it looked like he handed, is it a Band-Aid that he was going for that maybe there's a little bit of blood? Maybe he caught a fingernail on the table. Or caught it. It looks like he just caught his hand on the table and he put a Band-Aid on it.
Possible that he puts it there to Perhaps like the penhold grip gives him a little bit of irritation. I know he passed something to the umpire before the...
Yeah, I think it was the previous Band-Aid. Don't want to guess too much, but right now Teddy is closer than he's been in any of these games to get on the board. I've been in Teddy's position before as an attacker, but when your opponent's making those opening loops and moving them around, it's so tough to gauge. Wow.
Very interesting to see if Teddy can convert from this timeout, especially after Yijun's timeout in the last game.
He should be able to have the third ball that he wants. He's calling a timeout. He's getting some advice from his friend Billy Ding. You got two minds trying to figure out how to get at least a good look on that first ball after the serve. But it seems like anything short is going to get dropped short. And Teddy doesn't have the strongest flip over the table. So that might opt that out. Anything served long, if Yijun Feng is half step off the table, he's going to loop it. Now Teddy's blocking. So my suggestion, a dead serve to the middle, but more on the forehand side. So at least he opens up a chance to go wide into the backhand in case he does get a flip. Forehand is not going to be hurt, won't hurt him off of the serve because it's a dead serve. But let's see what Teddy goes for. It's like a little bit of that. Teddy would never expect Yijun to miss the serve, but can he at least get something to work with where he's not already at a deficit? This is where the biggest problem has been. Paul caught the back edge, so we have match point for Yijun Feng, the defending men's singles champion here, the U.S. Nationals. And he has done it and shown both of the power of his backhand and forehand to beat Teddy Tran of California in 4 straight games at 7, 5, 6, and 9. And he will be advancing to play the winner of our next quarterfinal match, which will be between Victor Liu of the Bay Area and Jack Wong of New Jersey. So we'll give a chance for the players to exit the court and umpires to take care of their paperwork, and we'll be right back with quarterfinals number 2 from the 2016 U.S. National Championships presented by Yola Table Tennis, Nataku, Butterfly, and Supermicro.